Okay, I said a few things in a few of my other videos about carbon being the enemy. So today I'm going to pretty much prove that I'm correct. God says, "There is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast." Well, for 20 years I've been asking for wisdom and understanding, so let's see if God has answered my prayers. Okay. It says that the number is 666, the enemy, the number of the enemy, and it is a man's number. It is the number of a man's name. This does not mean it is a man's name, it is a number of a man's name for something. I say it is carbon. Now what God showed me was that Eve was tempted by the devil to eat an apple from the tree of knowledge of good and bad. Now I believe that whatever was in the tree of knowledge of good and bad was energy, and that the apple that they ate was a Taurus energy apple. Basically energy that we did not have in us before. And Satan even goes on to say, "You will be bound to be like God, and by eating from the tree you will be bound to be able to see." Now the crucial word here is bound. It was a trick word. It means bound in chains. Basically, Satan knew that the power that we were eating would either destroy us, or we would have to be adjusted so we didn't die. Now the only thing that covers white electricity, white lightning, is carbon, which goes along with my videos for carbon covered stars and all the other things. Carbon is a fantastic insulator of energy, and it likes to steal it, because Satan's desire was for God's power. So he is something to do with carbon. Carbon is black, we are bound in it. Carbon is also a diamond, which means Satan may appear as an angel of light. And if he goes on up higher in voltage to see God's realm, if you apply electricity through a diamond, it glows red. So far we have carbon, diamond, and glowing diamond. Then we have the fact that we were ejected from the Garden of Eden. This would now have to do with different voltages, because that's what happens if you change to one electromagnetic signal. When it's based against another, there is a repulsion, and so by electromagnetism we were literally cast out of the Garden of Eden. And then God even said he gave them skins to wear. That would be the skin that is surrounding you now, which is all bound in carbon, basically, so we didn't explode like a battery with too much energy. So now we come to the composition of the human body. And if you check down that list, if you remove carbon, we are made from dirt. Now you can sit there and say, "Oh well, carbon's organic, blah 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 blah." No, I don't believe that, because I've been shown different. If we remove the carbon, we are made from dirt, which is exactly what God made us from. But once we ate the toroidal energy apple and suddenly experienced what God knows, we had to be covered in carbon so it didn't kill us. Satan wanted God's children gone. To prove that God was a liar, he thought that by covering us in carbon and giving us a finite lifetime, where after 120 years the carbon stops the electricity in your brain from reacting with your body, and so you die. That was his plan, to show God to be a liar by proving that he could destroy one of God's creations. And as we can see, God made provision for it, and we ended up being covered in carbon, which I believe is part of Satan, which is why at the end of time there will be a carbon hell, a carbon arc hell. And anybody trapped in their own body by not asking forgiveness or seeking escape through the power of Jesus Christ will be trapped in their carbon body on the carbon hell that will be outside the kingdom doors. So remove carbon and all you have is dirt. And now the final proof. The carbon that we have inside us is carbon 12, which just happens to have 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. Carbon 666, the number of the beast. So, you can sit there and pretend that coincidence happens and I've somehow managed to goat herd a notion my way to showing what happened in the Garden of Eden. So you can take this as proof or not proof. You can believe it or don't believe it. It's up to you, but you need to investigate. So there you have it. 666 is carbon, which goes along with diamonds and glowing diamonds and red devils and angels of light. Remove carbon from the human body and we are dirt. Eat a toroidal energy apple and accept the power of God. You are bound in carbon to protect you, but it also will kill you, which is why Jesus died on the cross, to make an electrical connection back to the Father. And if we are found in him with his thoughts from words from the Bible to change your mind and to change your electromagnetic signal of how you think, you will be found in Jesus and saved. If you refuse the Bible, you will not be found in Jesus, and so, like the magnets and electromagnetic power, you will be ejected from the kingdom onto whatever is left outside of this universe, which is going to be a carbon hell. And now we come to the most ambiguous part of the Bible. People being forced to take the number of the beast, the name of the beast. The beast is given its power by the dragon, 7 horns and 10 crowns, or 10 horns and 7 crowns. Doesn't really matter. The United Nations has these kind of numbers. The dragon's power, which is money, is now going towards carbon taxes and carbon investigation. So the money has been given to the governments to have authority over what happens with the carbon, whether to tax people. I don't know what this mark would be that you might have to take. That has not been revealed to me, but it's not a bother to me. All I know is that when you have all these governments with the same numbers that are in the Bible, you can kind of link it quite easily. The numbers are there for everybody to see, but the numbers continually change, but the numbers were there. And also remember, God says he will wash your soul of all the blackness of sin. The original sin was eating the apple, which covered us in carbon, which is why it is passed on to every single human being ever, is because we're all bound in carbon, because it is the original sin. And to be washed of the original sin would take a lot of power. But God says he can do it. So remember, sin is black, carbon is black. And 666 carbon is the enemy. Get baptized. Go read Jesus' words and make sure you are washed when you reach the throne. My name is Lee and I'm an engineer.